I'm going to share some exercises with you today that can be dangerous. When we are working with trauma, all of the developmental stuff comes up. And by developmental stuff, I mean those early childhood stuff in our body, in our brains, that our brain and our body remember, but we don't necessarily have conscious memory of that. Nor do we have a conscious understanding of how that is affecting our current situation and our triggers and how much resilience we have and how much stress we can handle, and when we reach that point of overwhelm and we give in, give up, or we overreact. And so I'm going to share this exercise with you, but I do want you to use it with caution. And whether you're using it for yourself or using it with a child who has trauma and attachment issues, understand that this is very powerful and can usually bring up some pretty powerful emotions. So if you're not ready for that, don't do this yet. So this exercise is going to be touching on the early developmental stuff when we first started to ambulate or get around and have some independence. And so this exercise is going to tap into all of that whole psychology thing of finding out that we are actually a separate person from our mom, that we can actually move away from her. And for some of us, a growing moment of, wow, like I'm a separate person. And for some other people, this would have been a time where they were already in survival mode because their mom was not able to be that emotionally present for them. And so they had already felt sort of rejection and that sense that they weren't worth her time. She was always busy with other things. And so moving away from her would have had a very different connotation, meaning to their life and those movements. So as we go into these movements, all of that meaning is going to come up. And so what you do is you get on some type of wood, tile floor, ideally. Carpet is very hard to do this on, but it can be done, but it's just harder. And you take your socks off, and for some people it may even be helpful to put your socks on your hands. Either way, the most important thing is you get down flat on your belly and you figure out how to scoot yourself down the floor without crawling. You're not going to be crawling on your hands and knees, right? That's going to be up further than what we are doing here in this exercise. In this exercise, you're actually on your belly and figuring out how to move your arms, move your legs in order to move down the floor. This will be very awkward at first, and that's totally okay. There is no right way to do this. The point is not to do the movement in the right way. The point is for your body to get into its own rhythm and pattern and to do however it seems like it can move down the floor. This will go back to a very early infancy stage, like we talked about, and all of the emotional situation of that time will usually come up. And so you may experience some deep sorrow, you may experience kind of this unexplained but really heavy crying. There's a whole host of powerful emotions that can come up during and after this exercise. And this should be used then at a time when you are ready for this. This is not a place to start when you have not done any other work yet. This is a tool to add to getting to those deeper areas where you may feel stuck in therapy or stuck with your personal development and want to go deeper, want to know more of what's at the root of it. This is how to find that. It will come up. Similarly, if you are a parent parenting a child with trauma and attachment issues, these developmental exercises are very essential to the overall program. It can be hard to get your child to do these, and so that's something that we cover in Mom's workshop and the family camps. But If they're willing and able at this point, and it doesn't create a big fight and opportunity for defiance, see how they do. And usually what will happen is, because this period of time for them was so traumatic, then you will see that in their movements and their patterns as they move down the floor. It will be very, very erratic. Their movements will be off. They won't be coordinated as well. And so the more they do this, the more their brain can go back, and now in a different external environment can rewire that nervous system, rewire those neurological patterns that control their movements, and now organize them in a more balanced and systematic way. So as we go into these neurodevelopmental things, I want to remind you that there are other videos, there are other blogs that I'm sharing with you in order to give you all the information I can in order to help you heal yourself or heal a child that you're parenting from trauma and attachment issues. All the best.